Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for making Across the Fence part of your Friday afternoon. I'm Will Michael in for Fran Stoddard. 40 or 50 years ago, it was not uncommon for cities and towns to try to control flooding by dredging. That is, by digging out mud and silt from waterways and thereby disturbing the floodplain. Well, over the years, we've learned that dredging often results in heavier flooding and more property and environmental damage. Planners and engineers now advocate for floodplain restoration, and a case in point involves the Dog River in Northfield.
We're at the Dog River Park in Northfield. There was an opportunity to do floodplain restoration here, as well as creating a public park.
The river used to come up and flood the neighborhood, and now when the flood occurs, it floods the field first and lessens the extended damage in the neighborhood.
In the spring, in 2011, the homes on this street were flooded. A lot of folks lost utilities like their boiler, their circuit box, that kind of thing. And so we identified those as an opportunity for acquisition and demolition in the future. In August of 2011, those same homes along Water Street were flooded for a second time. And the homeowners came to the town and said, "We don't want to be here anymore." The town had anticipated that and said, "All right, let's get started."
Over the next 5 years, the town worked with residents and FEMA to buy out and demolish 13 homes, helping to restore the natural floodplain to the Dog River.
We looked at the area, did a geomorphic assessment of the river, other data collection. We created a hydraulic model and tested different alternatives, settled on floodplain restoration.
Providing space for rivers to spread out during rainstorms helps reduce the impact to communities and achieve the goals of the Lake Champlain Phosphorus TMDL.
The river experienced a 2-year flood this year, and it spread out into the field just like it's supposed to. It dropped sediment just like it's supposed to, and I'm really happy with it because it shows that the restored floodplain is functioning exactly the way that we had hoped. Given the opportunity to slow down, lose its sediment load, it will be doing less damage downstream. It will also be carrying less sediment to Lake Champlain. It will be carrying fewer nutrients to Lake Champlain. Nutrients like phosphorus stick to the sediment in the water. That phosphorus feeds algae blooms. So we want to see the phosphorus stay where it belongs in the fields and in the stream banks.
Floodplain restoration is considered to be a cost-effective solution to water pollution challenges. Scientists are using the Dog River Park flood to learn more about the role floodplains play in reducing pollution.
So this research is trying to quantify the functioning of floodplains, and by that I mean what's the capacity of a floodplain to retain sediment and nutrients, and specifically we're looking at phosphorus during flood events. We can get a really good estimate of phosphorus deposited on floodplains by sampling sediment because there's a portion of phosphorus that sorbs onto particles. We take a soil core, identify the depth of sediment deposited, so then we can translate a depth into a mass, and we analyze it for the total phosphorus that's associated with that sediment deposited on the floodplain. We determined that it was approximately 300 pounds of phosphorus were deposited there. It's great to see these floodplains, again, functioning as they need to, capturing sediment and the associated nutrients before they go downstream.
One thing that this project shows is the value of ecological restoration, restoring nature to function the way that it should, and the value of doing that kind of a solution to lead to clean water. And it's a public park where people get to enjoy spending time with their friends and family.
We want to thank the Lake Champlain Basin Program for sharing that video story with us. When recycling first occurred, it helped keep glass, paper, and plastic out of our landfills. And then recycling expanded. It included yard waste, and most recently it includes food scraps. For today's Friday flashback segment, Rebecca Gollin takes us to the Chittenden County Waste District facility where today's scraps are tomorrow's soils.
87 is when we were created and this landfill started closing. Right, mandatory recycling kicked in.
Michele Morris is the Director of Outreach and Communication for the Chittenden Solid Waste District.
We are a municipal district. We act kind of like a school district or a water district. We're responsible for managing all of the solid waste that's created by all of our member towns and cities. So every town and city in Chittenden County, if you produce trash, recycling, food scraps, all of that kind of stuff, we're responsible for overseeing how it's managed. We don't pick it up, we help you make less of it. Right behind me, behind this little red dumpster, is all your drink bottles.
On this day, Morris is leading a tour of the Materials Recovery Facility, or MRF, in Williston.
There's no better way to understand how your decisions impact these markets and how recycling works or doesn't work than by seeing it in action and seeing what your decisions mean to the folks who work here and to the system in general.
Those decisions can make a big difference, both to the workers at the MRF and its bottom line.
So some of the common mistakes are plastic bags or filmy plastic. We don't want any of that in your recycling bin. Take your plastic bag back to the grocery store. They recycle it via a completely different system, and it does get recycled, but not in your blue bin. So no plastic bags, no styrofoam. Make sure plastic packaging and containers are empty and clean, and no food packaging. We get 180 tons here a day, and we have people working here. We want it to be a nice environment as much as it can be.
The group on this tour is largely made up of employees of Autum Harp, which is a custom manufacturer of personal care products in Essex Junction.
It's just good business.
Adrian Oates oversees the company's manufacturing facility. Recycling is a key part of the sustainable practices they've implemented.
Sustainability has also done a lot of reduce in terms of electrical usage. We have LED lighting, that sort of stuff, water reduction projects, and that all saves money and puts money to the bottom line. The recycling is much less expensive than sending to the landfill, which is also good for the bottom line. And our customers, it's really important to our customers.
This is where the market's going, is sustainability.
As a materials handler at Autum Harp, Jason Fitzsimmons deals with a lot of the waste that comes through his company. Seeing the way recycling is handled at the MRF has helped Autum Harp make sure its waste is going to the proper place.
A couple of years ago, we did a audit and we found out that plastic film was super easy and affordable to actually recycle it. What didn't cost us too much more. And we were able to put that in place. And I mean, the amount of plastic film we send out of that facility and that doesn't wind up in the landfill it's quite a bit. It's a few trailerfuls a year. And that's after it's been kind of compacted down a little bit. And so it is quite a bit.
After their tour of the MRF, the group headed to one of Chittenden Solid Waste District's newest facilities, Green Mountain Compost in Williston.
They're doing here on the molecular level, so they know the carbon-nitrogen ratios of all the different feedstocks.
We're taking in yard debris and food scraps from around the county and beyond, and at this point that's over 5,000 tons of each. So there's a huge leaf pile that represents the majority of the leaves are most of what the yard debris we get, but also grass clippings and things like that.
It takes about a year to turn food scraps from the slimy, smelly loads that come in to the dark brown, nutrient-rich compost that the facility sells in bags or bulk. It's still a couple of years until the full implementation of Act 148, which will require all food scraps to be diverted from the landfill. But the compost facility is starting to prepare.
It's not just us here at CSWD that are preparing for 2020. I feel like the state is, and down to an individual level, people are starting to think about, am I going to backyard compost? Am I going to drop it off? And what am I going to do about those bones? And those kind of questions. So it's nice that awareness seems to be, pardon the pun, but happening organically.
CSWD Business Outreach Coordinator Ethan Hausman wants people to know that there are some important things to consider when it comes to composting.
There are many things to keep in mind, down to the smallest detail, like taking off your produce stickers before you throw your avocado skins in the compost or your banana peels, to thinking sort of much more broadly about, you know, how to reduce first and foremost. You know, we want to emphasize that as great as composting is and recycling, that at the consumer level, it really starts with trying to reduce first, and that's always preferable as the first step.
Back at the MRF, Michele Morris has some advice for Vermonters who want to get their recycling to the right place, but might not know where that is.
The main things people need to know is if you're not sure what should go in your recycling bin, call us or check our website. We have a hotline and we have a great A to Z list on our website. And don't throw it in saying, oh, they'll figure it out. We call that wishful recycling. It doesn't help the system, it just makes it more expensive.
Helping Vermonters use all of their resources. The Chittenden Solid Waste District is gearing up for the future. In Williston, I'm Rebecca Gollin with Across the Fence.
Thank you, Rebecca, and thank you. We know you have choices, so thanks for choosing us. I'm Will Michael, inviting you to join us back here each weekday afternoon for another visit Across the Fence.